Welcome everyone to Planet of NY Sports. Here we talk Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, and a little bit of the Knicks and Nets. So, Conference Championship weekend, everyone. The Chiefs defeated the Bills. The Ravens defeated the Texans. The 49ers pulled one out against the Packers. It was tough, though. And the Detroit Lions beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Detroit is in the NFC Championship game. I am pumped for Detroit. Literally, here, I'll give you all a backstory here. Detroit, look, obviously, yes, I'm a Giants fan. But going back to, let's say 2016, I always had a thing in my heart. Like Matthew Stafford, I got his football card. Well, he was like my first football card. So basically, I was always like, oh, and my favorite color is blue. I like the Lions. I was like, I kind of like them. I like that. Like, they'll be like my undercover team. And ever since then, even when they sucked, I was always rooting for the Lions, except if we were playing against them. I was always rooting for the Lions, no matter what. And if the Lions would lose in, like, the typical Lions fashion, I'd be like, oh, man, come on. Like, my dad can tell you. But now, to see them in the NFC Championship game, the first time since the 90s against Washington. Wow. Detroit literally hasn't won a championship going back like all the way to the pre-Super Bowl era. They haven't won a Super Bowl. They have not been to a Super Bowl. So for the city of Detroit, I'm just going to... With that being said, you are facing a tough task. You are going into San Francisco. I said tough task. I didn't say impossible task. I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's just switch gears here since we already know who, Jaden's going to pick on the AFC side of things. We can just get it out of the way. Roderick isn't here today, but I will give you his picks right now. He is predicting a Lions and Chiefs Super Bowl. That is a week 1 rematch. Could I see that happening? I definitely could. Wouldn't shock me. But I do not want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for a multitude of reasons, but we'll get into that later. So, Jaden, give me your keys to victory for the Chiefs beating the Ravens.
Keys to victory is holding Lamar Jackson into that pocket, making sure that he doesn't score up to 20 points. If Lamar Jackson gets up to 20 points, the game is over. Another key victory is holding that run offense to at least 80 yards. As you can tell in the Buffalo game, he had a lot of running going on with James Cook against us, and we did not hold him very well, but we still won. So we have to definitely figure out a way to stop that with the run game. And those are the two key to victories I have.
Okay, yep. And then for me, you know what? I'm not even going to do a keys to victory for the Ravens because I feel like the Ravens have been the best team in the NFL thus far. I don't think anybody's going to deny that, especially with the tough schedule that they had. They faced teams like San Francisco. They beat, how many playoff teams? They beat the Browns once. The only playoff team they really didn't beat this year was the Steelers. They got swept, but that was kind of a different situation. They beat the Browns once. Obviously, they destroyed the Lions. They beat the 49ers. They beat all these playoff teams. So you have to give them credit. So with that being said, I said it last week with Lamar in the playoff struggles, but in the second half, the Ravens turned it up and they did well. That being said, obviously, the league, look, I'm not saying that the NFL is scripted. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying obviously the league would prefer that the Chiefs win this game. I think that is very obvious. You don't need me telling you that. They got the whole Taylor Swift thing. They want the Swifties to watch the Super Bowl. And they want Travis Kelce to maybe get on one knee and propose after they win and do some storyline BS. But I hope we do not see that. I really hope we don't. I am
As a Kansas City fan, I agree.
What you said?
As a Kansas City fan, I agree.
Yeah, see, exactly. He's a Kansas City fan. Literally, Isaiah Pacheco scored a touchdown against the Bills, and then they pan. What's the first thing they pan to? Taylor Swift. I was like, bro, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, I understand Kelsey getting 2 touchdowns going, to Taylor Swift. All right, fine. But, like, Isaiah Pacheco? What? Can anyone tell me, Isaiah Pacheco and Taylor Swift, do they have something going on, or are they, do they have some sort of relationship or friendship or anything that we should know about? Because I don't understand. I do not get it. I am tired of it. But that's not the only reason why I am obviously rooting against the Chiefs. I think in reality, I'm just tired. I think most of America is just tired of the Chiefs, besides Chiefs fans. They're kind of becoming the new Patriots, and it is getting annoying. It is getting annoying. And considering, Chiefs fans, it's a little bit hypocritical. You guys were like one of the biggest people talking about the Patriots and stuff, and now all of a sudden you've become the new Patriots. But with that being said, I told Jaden before the video started, I was like, I cannot find any other reasons as to why the Chiefs could win this game besides that they have Patrick Mahomes. Like, I can't, think of a reason in my head, why they can win this game. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to glaze the man any more than I should. Obviously, he's the best quarterback in the NFL, bar none, period. He beat the decimated Bills defense, but still, the way he's been so calm, cool, and collected in the playoffs. He obviously hasn't thrown any picks, which we saw as a concern in the regular season. So, with that being said, if I had to pick who's going to win this game, I'm going to say the Ravens win this game, but I think it's going to be close. I'm not even going to say it's going to be a blowout. I would not be shocked if the Chiefs go ahead and win. I think it is, though, a tough ask to go in to Buffalo and then go into Baltimore. I think that is kind of tough. And this Ravens defense, they're fully healthy. They're getting Mark Andrews back on offense. This is going to be an even tougher task for the Chiefs. This is going to be tougher than the Buffalo game. I don't care. They're not going to be able to do what they did against Buffalo's defense and everything. This game, the Chiefs defense is going to need to step up. They're going to need to contain the run, like Jaden said. They're going to have a spy on Lamar, but I don't even think having a spy on him is not going to do anything. He's going to outrun you anyways. It doesn't matter. Especially now that he has some weapons on his side with Zay Flowers and stuff, all he has to do is just run. And then, if someone gets open, he can just dump it off. Or if you're covering him, he can just run. There's no way to stop it. I don't understand. What are you supposed to do?
As a Chiefs fan, it's very hard.
Exactly. So, like I said, I think that this is probably going to be the year that if the Ravens do make it, it will be the Ravens' year. I just think I don't see who's really stopping them, even if San Francisco gets there and faces them again, even though it is hard to beat a team twice. I just think the Ravens are just so hot right now. I don't see anybody beating them, but if there is someone to do it, it would obviously be Patrick Mahomes. But that is just still a very tough ask. This is probably the toughest team, he's gone against in the play, or at least top 3, probably top 2 toughest defenses he's faced in the playoffs plus Super Bowl, if you want to count the Bucks in the Super Bowl. And also, Mahomes is 0-2 against Tom Brady, and even I don't like Tom Brady all that much. But moving on to the NFC side of things, we'll give you our score predictions a little bit later. San Francisco versus Detroit. Jaden, give me who are you rooting for in this game and why?
I'm going with the Lions. The reason is because I do want to see that matchup between Mahomes and Goff again. And the reason is because it's the Lions. They really have never made it past a championship before, even as you said before in the beginning of the video. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what they could do if they get there too, and to see, how Detroit reacts to them being in the Super Bowl.
Yep. And in my opinion, if the Lions were to make it, I would like their chances better against the Chiefs than the Ravens. That's just my opinion. Obviously, they beat the Chiefs this year. without Travis Kelce. But the Lions are also a different team, as opposed to the start of the season. And I kind of say that because I feel like we saw what the Ravens did to them earlier, and it's just like, yeah, I don't like that. But if I obviously was rooting for a Super Bowl, obviously my Super Bowl to root for is Lions versus the Ravens. Now, the Lions, they're going to have to do a multitude of things here. And Deebo Samuel, it came out today, he is playing. He is playing. So that's not good for a Lions secondary who, as we all know, has not been good. But San Francisco secondary, not so great either. I would think that that's probably like the weaker part of the defense for San Francisco. I said it last week about San Francisco's defense. It's not as good as previous years. It's not as good. Like, obviously, their D-line is still tough. You got Bosa. You got Chase Young now, even though he hasn't even been doing much. Obviously, with the linebackers, you got Fred Warner. That goes without saying. But that secondary, especially what Jordan Love did against them, I think if the Lions can score, they're going to have to score a touchdown every quarter probably. You can keep up in this game and potentially win. Now, another key to victory, I would say, Hutchinson obviously is the best player on defense for the Lions. I think that goes without saying.
That's their best player.
On defense.
On defense, I mean, they got Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's a good player too.
He's a good player, but I don't think he's better than Hutchinson. I don't think.
No, I'm just saying, they have.
They got some guys, but this is the point I'm going to make. I'm saying that they need to set up Hutchinson for success. Obviously, he's the best player on your defense, and you cannot rely on your secondary. You cannot. Oh. We've seen that. Baker Mayfield threw all over them. Any other opponent, literally Nick Mullins, Roderick's Vikings quarterback, threw for 400 yards, 300.
300 yards.
Yeah, 300 yards. Yeah, literally, it is not very hard to pass all over this Lions secondary. It is not hard.
Yeah, they do not have good corners.
Yeah. They got
linebackers.
Yeah, they got linebackers. They got the young safety, Brian Branch. But
speaking of safeties, a good matchup we're going to see is CJ versus Deebo Samuel.
Yes,
Gardner Johnson. I think we forgot to bring that up. That's going to be a good matchup. They were really talking a lot in October.
Yes, that is going to be a very good matchup, and I'm excited to see it. But a question I have is Deebo fully 100% healthy? Is he going to be used maybe as a decoy? What is San Francisco going to do this game? I think if this is a low-scoring game, it definitely benefits San Francisco because like I said, the only way that the Lions are going to win this game is that they're going to have to keep scoring. They have to keep our guy Dan Campbell loves to say, you're gonna have to just keep stomping and stomping and stomping. Literally on offense, that's what they're gonna have to do. Now, Jared Goff, I'm not worried about Goff. I'm not worried about Goff this game. I'm just gonna say that. He has experience against San Francisco. Obviously, he was with the Rams. He's a California guy. He went to school in California. I'm not really worried about Jared Goff. And I said it, I was saying it during the week, obviously not on here, but I was just saying I'm not sure if San Francisco, I'm not sure if that's a huge home field advantage. I'm not sure it is. Considering Jordan Love almost went in there and won, I'm just saying. Obviously, that could be attributed to some rust for the 49ers. They haven't played in a few weeks. But I just don't think it's an impossible task. I really don't think it is. Now, Jaden, let me get your score prediction for this game.
I'm going to say 24 Lions, 21 49ers.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because the 49ers do have a good offense. They really do. but the Lions seem to be figuring out a way to win. They're like including in that first game they played against the Rams. They almost did lose that game, but they figured out the way to win. So I feel like, this is a team that's going to really fight no matter what. So it should be interesting to see what they do against the 49ers.
Okay. I'm going Lions all the way. I've made it this far with them. But if I'm going to have to say the score here, if the Lions are going to win this game, and I'm not very confident, I think, obviously, my mind's telling me San Francisco. My heart is telling me Detroit. So I'm going to go with Detroit because don't get me wrong. San Francisco, even though they haven't won any Super Bowls recently, they still have 5. They've still been there a few times, in recent years. They're always in it. I would like to see something different. I want to see the city of Detroit finally be in the Super Bowl. I want to see Dan Campbell. I love rooting for that guy. He's a big gambler. Give me Lions 27, 49ers 24. Lions win on a game-winning field goal. And also, the 49ers could have potentially won the game, but Jake Moody misses a kick. Now watch it be the opposite in the game. Now, moving on to the Ravens and Chiefs. I'll go first because, well, we already know, we already got an idea of what Jaden's going to say. So I am not very confident in picking the Ravens, even though they've been the best team. I've gassed them up, said all this. I'm still not very confident because it's Patrick Mahomes, it's the Chiefs. The NFL wants them in there. The refs are going to be on Patrick Mahomes' side. But if I'm being realistic here, I'm going to pick the Ravens. I'm going to say this game ends on a game-winning field goal as well. I am not confident. I'm not confident in in picking against the Chiefs right now. I'm really not confident in picking against them. I'm being very careful doing it. I could see them winning this game somehow, some way. But if they do win this game, it's going to be because Lamar Jackson spits the bit. And also, just real quick here, Jaden, because we'll get to your score prediction at the end. But I think I just want to bring up the topic of how important this game is for Lamar Jackson. Because Lamar, obviously, he's about to go ahead and win his second MVP, even though this year for quarterbacks, it hasn't been very impressive. And I think he really, really needs to get it done this year. I'm just going to say that. He really needs to, if it's not this year, then when? This is obviously the best team he's been on, the best team, bar none. You got the number 1 seed. You got home field. You got a Chiefs team that isn't, obviously, I'm still saying it, they're not the same Chiefs team, obviously, as in recent years, with Tyreek and Travis Kelce obviously had 2 touchdowns against Buffalo, and I guess he could be heating up, but you got Mark Andrews coming back. You got Isaiah Likely, who stepped up at tight end. You got Zay Flowers. You got these guys on offense, and then you got the defense. If not now, then when? Just give me your take on that with how big this game is for Lamar Jackson.
This is a big game for him, totally. This is a big game for his legacy because, I think I brought this up last week in the last episode that this is going to help him get rid of the haters and the naysayers talking about he's just a quarterback that can run. He's a running back, basically. He's not really meant to be a quarterback, and this can really show the link, that he's a really link, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to use a little bit of Jalen Monroe here, but he has to really link here because, even though as a Chiefs fan, I really do want the Chiefs to win. If Lamar Jackson does win, I think this would be great for his legacy. Also, he gets the MVP, and he can let everybody know he's really here to be a quarterback, and he's here to stay. And that's really big for his legacy, including that this is the first time he's really been on a good team like this. I mean, the last teams he's really been on, they've been good too, but these just really haven't had that defensive impact that this year they have with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen at linebacker. And, if they win this, it's really big for his legacy.
Yep. And not just this. I think whoever he faces, I think he has to win the Super Bowl this year, especially if they do go. If it's against Detroit, I think, obviously I'll be rooting for Detroit if that were to happen, but I think you need to win that. And if it's against San Francisco, I think you still need to win it because you beat them in the regular season, and San Francisco. There's just something about San Francisco. I don't know what it is, but Shanahan has not won a Super Bowl either. And yes, he's a very good coach. Don't get me wrong. But we saw the stat before they beat the Packers. It was like what, when trailing going into the fourth quarter, obviously he was like 0 and what?
Was it 8 or something like that?
No, it was more than that. It was like
more.
It was like 0 and 30 or something. So yeah, but obviously he won that game, so it's different. But there's just something about San Francisco this year, and like obviously I think they probably will beat the Lions. The Lions, like a lot's gonna have to go right for the Lions to win. But if the 49ers do get to the Super Bowl, Purdy's going to need to step up. Don't get me wrong, he didn't officially turn the ball over against the Packers, but there was like 2 to 3 balls that should have been picked.
Yeah, and including in that first half, I think they had like 2 interceptions that could have been made, and he got really lucky with them dropping it because of the wet weather. But otherwise, those should have been pick sixes. Yeah,
exactly. It should have been pick sixes. The Packers very well could have just won that game. They just won that game. We'd be having a different convo right now. Lions versus Packers. Now, with that being said, just going back on to Lamar, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Ravens win, game-winning field goal. 27. No, not even 27. Actually, 24 to 21.
24-21. That's not a bad score.
Yeah. Now, what's your prediction?
Realistically, I think it's going to be a high scoring game for the Chiefs. They're going to have to really put up a lot of points to stay up there with the Ravens. So I'm going to say 32-28. Realistically, because even though they really have to hold them to 20 points to really win this, if they do, but they could still get a game-winning field goal. So I'm going to say 32-28. That's realistic for me.
So do you see the Chiefs being able to score that many points on this Ravens defense?
It's going to be a challenge, but I believe that they do have the receivers to do it. Richard Rice has definitely stepped up. Travis Kelce stepped up last week. Pacheco, I don't know if he's going to play. He is doubtful for this week, but if he plays, then I think we can definitely pull it out there.
I know, but 32 points.
I know it doesn't sound realistic,
defense, but I mean it could happen. You never know. The Ravens, I think this game will be dramatic. I think obviously everyone in America, except for the respected fan bases, are rooting for Detroit and Baltimore. So with that being said, I think this Baltimore game is going to be very dramatic. I think there's going to be, some heart attacks here and there. But I think, if the Ravens don't get through this game, then Lamar, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot more questions about, he's a running back, blah, 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 and this and that. Not a big game quarterback. Lamar needs to win this game. Patrick Mahomes does not need to really win this game. Yeah. And then going on to San Francisco and Detroit. Detroit's playing with house money. And obviously there's more pressure on San Francisco to win this game, especially at home.
I have a question for you though, Russell.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Patrick Mahomes does win and he goes to Super Bowl, do you think that would be important for his legacy too? Does that make him the next Tom Brady, do you think?
Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls.
I'm saying on the road to there, on the road to getting up there.
He should. I can't really compare him to Brady, as I think, especially considering that he was 0-2 against Brady in big games. I don't know if I would say that considering just looking at the new tier of quarterbacks that are coming in, and that the Chiefs will obviously be in it. They're going to get to some more, and but with that being said, we're seeing so many more good quarterbacks coming, especially in the AFC. I just think that it will get tougher, and Andy Reid is going to eventually retire within the next 5 years, probably
5-6 years.
Yeah, but maybe even less than that. Who knows? So it's he could, if he wins 3 now. He's definitely getting in that Brady territory where people are getting tired of him, but it would do a lot for his legacy. But I think the media is already saying that he's the second best quarterback of all time. And I don't know if I would go that far yet. I think he's definitely top 10. I think he's definitely, I don't know if, I guess you can say I don't know if I'm top 5. I don't know if I'm ready to admit that. If he wins this Super Bowl, then I'd probably put him top 3 or 4. But especially on this Chiefs team, this would do a good amount for his legacy, as much as I don't want to admit it. Yeah, it would. And it would make me very mad. I would be very frustrated. And it's going to feel like Brady all over again. And it's going to sound like we're going to need the Giants to come in and kill another dynasty. Because, the Giants beat Brady not once, but twice. And Brady beat Mahomes not once, but twice, especially in the Super Bowl. So I think Brady stays up there. I think Mahomes probably finishes his career with 5. Maybe 4. Yeah, 4 or 5. If I had to give my honest opinion on it, I think Mahomes finishes with 4 or 5 Super Bowls. This year, I don't think he gets one. I don't think he gets it. But if he does get there and he's facing Detroit or even San Francisco, I don't know if they have an answer for San Francisco. But we will see what happens next week. Obviously, Lions-Ravens. For Jaden, it's Lions-Chiefs. Roderick, Lions-Chiefs. We'll see what the script has for us. And, Taylor Swift fans, I'm sorry, but I don't want you guys to watch any more football after Sunday. So if you can all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all in the next video. Leave me a comment down below. What is your Super Bowl prediction? Who do you think is possibly going to win? Who do you think? Do you think Detroit's going to get there? Like all of America. We don't think, but we want Detroit to get there. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes and the Swifties are going to go back to the Super Bowl and we're going to see some Hollywood romance stick with Kelsey, and if they win, blah, blah, blah? Or do you think that this is Lamar's year? Do you think that this is Brock Purdy's year and he shuts up all the game manager comments? We shall see. See you all in the next video.